Build a better bathroom today with help from Lowe's, where you'll find great deals on everything you need during the Kohler Dream Bathroom event. So hurry into your neighborhood store to get 10 to 15% off select Kohler and Sterling bath products that are sure to transform any bathroom. Don't miss out on all of the great savings happening right now at Lowe's. Selection varies by store. Valid February 11th through March 13th. U.S. only.
Blog Talk Radio.
Tell me who flop, who copped the blue drop, who jewels got blocks, who mostly Dolce down to the blue drop. The same old pimp, mace, you know ain't nothing changed but my limp. Can't stop till I see my name on the blimp. Guarantee a million shells full of level up. You don't believe in Harlem World, nigga, double up. We don't play around, it's a bet, lay it down. Niggas didn't know me 91, bet they know me now. I'm the young Harlem nigga with the Goldie sound. Can't no PhD, niggas hold me down. Cooler, school me to the game, now I know my duty. Stay humble, stay low, blow like Woody. True pimp, niggas spin no dough on the booty. And when you yell, there go Mace, there go your cutie.
Call all the shots, rip all the spots, rock all the rocks, top all the drops. I know you take it now when all the ball is stopped. Nigga never home, gotta call me on the yacht. 10 years from now, we'll still be on top. Yo, I thought I told you that we won't stop. Now what you gonna do with a crew that got money much longer than yours, and a team much stronger than yours? Violate me, this a BOJ. We don't play, mess around, be DOA. Be on your way, cause it ain't enough time here, ain't enough lime here for you to shine here. Deal with many women, but treat down fair. And I'm bigger than the city lights down in Times Square. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
No info for the DEA. Federal agents mad cause I'm flagrant. Got myself and the phone in the basement. My team supreme, stay clean. Triple beam, miracle dream. I be that. Catch a seat at all events bent. Gats in holsters, girls on shoulders. Playboy, I told ya. Me and Mike to me, bruise too much. I lose too much. Step on stage, the girls boo too much. I guess it's cause you run with lame dudes too much. Me lose my touch, never that. If I did, ain't no problem to get the gap. Where the true players at? Throw your rollies in the sky, waving side to side, and keep your hands high while I give your girl an eye. Player please, lyrically, nigga C, B-I-G-B flossing, jig on the cover of Fortune, 500. It's my phone number, your man, I got the know, I got the dough, got the flow down, pizzazz, platinum plus, like that, dangerous, on Trizak, leave your ass pizzazz.
rise and grind, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Body and Soul. I'm your host, Slatter. I hope you wasn't waiting too impatiently for me, those of y'all that have been on the air. We had a little technical difficulty this morning, but we still rocking with you. We got a very special guest this morning. He'll be in here a little later. So in the meanwhile, just ride with me for a second. We're gonna play a little bit of Belle Biv DeVoe. And when we get back on, hopefully we get this interview going. It's Body and Soul.
Baby, they ain't full of facts. Baby, they ain't full of facts. Man and free, full of facts.
Ready, Ron?
I'm ready.
I'm ready, Slick. Are you?
Take it down.
Girl, I must warn you. I sense something strange in my mind. Situation is serious. Let's cure it 'cause we're running out of time.
Tell him, Rick.
It's all so beautiful. Relationships, they seem from the start. It's also deadly when love is not together from the heart. Check it out. It's driving me out of my mind. That's why it's hard for me to find. Can't get it out of my head. That girl is never trust a big button smile. That girl is
If I were you, I'd take precaution
before I step to meet a fly girl.
Yeah,
'cause in some portion, your face the best thing in the world. She's so fly, she'll drive you right out of your mind, steal your heart when you're blind. Beware, she's scheming, she'll make you think you're dreaming. You'll fall in love and you'll be screaming, demon.
poison, daddy, moving it slow. Looking for a mellow fella like it won't getting paid. Lay, so better lay low. Scheming on house money in the whole show. The low throw hoe should be cut like an afro. So what you saying, huh? She's winning to you, but I know she's a loser.
How do you know?
Me and the crew used to do her.
Poison.
Clocking the hoes. Clocking them. I was at the block, shake big and taking them all. And that night, I played the wall. Checking out the fellas, the highs and lows. Keeping one eye open, still clocking the hoes. There was one particular girl that stood out from the rest. Poison as can be with a high power chest. Michael Bivens here, and I'm running the show. Bell, Biv DeVoe. Now you know. Slick, blow.
It's driving me out of my mind. That's why it's hard for me to find. Can't get it out of my head. Mr. Kisser, love, that girl is poison, 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 poison.
You never trust a big button to smile. Never trust a big button to smile.
Yeah.
She's dangerous. She's dangerous.
Yeah, fellas, that was another dope one.
I know what I'm saying, man.
Yeah, baby, they're full of facts.
Yo, what's up to Ralph C and Johnny G?
Yeah,
I can't forget about my buddy Brown.
and the whole NE crew.
All right. That was Bell Biv DeVoe, that Poison Club remix right here on Body and Soul with Ty Slatter. Now, without further ado, I have a very special guest on the air with me, Mr. Tony Wilbern of Ball State. Good morning, sir. Can you hear me out there?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. All right. How you doing this morning?
Oh man, family, it's all good. It's just waking up at the beautiful early hour of 6 a.m. Just looking at the snow, hating snow. Because I gotta hurry up and try to get back to Ball State. So I'm checking so right now I'm just checking the news to see how the highways are doing.
Okay, well, if you don't mind, Mr. Wilburn, just tell our listeners a little bit about yourself and what you do at Ball State,
No problem, family. Right now, I'm just a student at Ball State. I'm a junior. I transferred in about 2 or 3 semesters ago. I was a marketing degree, but now I'm deciding to change it to an industrial technology degree. Currently, I'm part of the proud service fraternity Alpha Phi Omega, and right now I'm in transit in hopes of creating an organization called Brothers for Brothers. And what that is, Brothers for Brothers, it's a organization that's geared to trying to raise the black consciousness of the African American on campus. A lot of times you have organizations on groups on campus who are very prominent, who are very geared toward kind of doing that, but the ways they go about it is not that they're not successful, it's not that they're not hitting the mark, but the ways that they're going about it is not necessarily hitting audiences as hard as it could be. And the main reason why that is that you have black students running these organizations with no African American history degrees, no African American psychology degrees, no degrees in leadership. We're on our ways to get that, but we have no expertise in that, in really building effective leadership. So what Brothers for Brothers hopes to kind of do is hope to become a community, almost like a community network for that. So, yeah.
No, that's interesting, man. Being from Ball State, I kind of understand where you're going with that. You know, it's kind of hard to create a group that has that type of, I guess you could say, have that mission and not have the experience to complete the mission.
Right.
I can understand that. Can you kind of break down what your inspiration was behind this movement of creating this new group, Brothers for Brothers?
Brothers for Brothers. And Brothers for Brothers is the inspiration that I got for kind of creating it was kind of from a little bit from myself, as well as looking at the other organizations on campus. Really, what I mean by I got it for myself, back in high school, I had created a junior fraternity called the Gentlemen's Club. Now, it sounds like a recreational activity the older gentlemen, go to on Fridays or Saturdays or what have you. But It was just really just a group of young African-American men to where we could first come and sit down and just talk about life, talk about things that we were going through, talk about, how to instruct us on how to think, how to go about certain situations. If you wanted, financial success, this was how to get it. If you wanted to learn self-defense, this is how you go about it. This is why you go about it. Though at the time, I would say I was a little bit immature in trying to put things together, but at the same time, we had meetings, we dressed up, we were nice, we got accredited, and eventually it lasted after I graduated, because I made it my senior year. It lasted about 2 years before it just before they changed it into the whole initiative of My Brother's Keeper. So that was a part of it, and another reason why was just because on campus you had a lot of people kind of dissatisfied, not necessarily, again, with the black organizations on campus, but just with the learning on campus. Because a lot of times if you weren't an African-American history major, or if you were just a person just trying to get through classes, what was the use of learning or going into African-American history? And they just now got a teacher for African-American history and African history. So before then, there was really, to my knowledge, a learning of African-American history. And when you do learn African or African-American history, there's no real instruction as to how you can use it. There's a difference between being a conscious black person or a conscious person versus being a person who just knows a little bit about your history or knows your history. There's a huge difference. People don't know it. We don't know it. But there's a huge difference as to the way they go about things. You see what I'm saying?
Okay. So I guess that would kind of lead to me asking you, how would you know the difference if a lot of us don't know? How will people be able to determine the difference or be able to determine your results? Like I'm saying, as far as progression, how will we be able to gauge, or what kind of system is in place, or where you can determine the difference between now, what they're learning right now from the other groups that are already established, versus what your group can potentially do in the future? How are you going to be able to gauge the difference if nobody really knows the difference?
That's a very good question, actually. How you gauge the difference is a response. Whenever you have a organization, or whenever, just kind of put in scientific terms, whenever you have a situation to which you have a stimuli, you're always going to have a response. If you put something in front of people and how they respond to it, it's going to be, you're going to have, again, just a natural response. But what I could definitely say is how they would know the difference is just the way I go about it. You see what I'm saying? It's kind of hard to answer because that was a really, really good question. But the way I would go about it, the way I would structure the meeting, the way I would talk about things, a lot of times up there, they're left up to discussion. And although they're now trying to have, speakers being pushed, up there, my biggest thing was not only would, I hopefully, and if I did, and when I do speak, it's not going to necessarily be often, but is to reach out to a lot of other African American organizations within Indiana to have them speak. Reach out to people actually on Ball State and to have them speak. You see what I'm saying? Because, as I was telling people on campus, you have Maya Angelou, she's gone. Right. You had Famous Amos, I think that was his name, on the radio station, who was huge in Indianapolis.
Amos Brown.
I used to yes, oh my God. Well, I used to listen to him all the time. And then he's now gone. And it's like, well, you have all these prominent people, all these prominent figures in the African American community. One of the most prominent figures, I can't remember her name, but she had recently passed.
Are you talking about Dr. Frances Cress Welsing?
Yes.
Okay.
That's exactly what I'm talking. And she had passed. But you don't necessarily have a network of people who are in line to succeed them. You see what I'm saying? It's like we're now lost or now losing prominent figures with nobody, it seems like, to replace them. You see what I'm saying? And right now, most African American students, from what I've seen so far in Indiana, I have not met one, including myself, I've not met one that is majoring in African American history, African American psychology, African history, or is geared to talk about the things that need to be talked about. We'll talk about it, you see, amongst ourselves, but it's very seldom that we'll talk about something and do something about it. You see what I'm saying?
Now, I have a question about that because, and I'll play devil's advocate on this one. I'll say that what if the majority of the African American students on campus feel that the college approach of teaching us our history is inaccurate, so it doesn't encourage those who feel or aware that knowledge is not our true history. It's only maybe pieces of it, or it's been tampered, it's been altered. So we don't have a desire to want to learn or be spoon-fed the knowledge that they're trying to give us because it's not accurate when there's more knowledge out there outside of those books, outside of those courses, and that's why they're not picking up those African history classes or courses, because they don't believe that is the truth. What's your take on that?
Well, my take on that is that I could see where that person might feel that, and I could understand or even sympathize to the fact, but to me, it personally would almost come out as an excuse, because you have to start somewhere. Even though you may only have a piece of your history, if in African American history or African history, you feel as though they are spoon feeding you pieces and parts of your history, and you're not necessarily getting the whole picture. Let's say someone felt like that. However, I can only personally say that we don't know because we haven't taken the African American history class. And secondly, there's so much information out here alone about your history. So even if you were to go to your history class and only be fed a piece of what you wanted to know. There's too many there has been too many African historians like Dr. John Henrik Clark, and Dr. Ben, Yuckenheim. I can't necessarily say his name correctly. There's so many of them who have taken the time out in their life's work to write books for you. You see what I'm saying? To start dispelling the myths that are out here, or start giving a clearer picture. So to me, a person feeling like they wouldn't necessarily want to be spoon-fed, a potential lies, or just a half a piece of the story, you have to start somewhere, and you have to always do your research. That's how you begin to learn the truth. You have to begin to learn your research, because, heck, even the Bible, and not to necessarily, bring up a whole religious point, but this is a historical point. Not even the Bible, or the current James Bible, was complete. It's been altered from the Council of Nicaea.
Now the people. Now those people that I was playing devil's advocate for. Of course, I didn't know I had to imply it, but I'll imply it. Those people are doing research on their own. I'm talking about the ones that are doing the research on their own, reading the Dr. Cress Welson's teachings, Professor Griff. There's so many other books and authors out there that have given plenty of radio interviews, speeches. The information is out there. We're in the information age. So I didn't say that going into it, because I kind of because we're in the information age. I kind of what's to say, my expectation of a conscious African American are a bit higher than just the average human being. I expect you to if somebody tells you something, I expect you to have your own mind and think for yourself. Think for yourself, right? Think for yourself. Right. Process what they gave you. Get your own theory. Get your own facts, and either confirm or debate it. Whatever happens. Some things you can debate, some things you can't. After you've done your research. So I'm glad you brought that up. Of course, you always have to research. You always have to do your own, your own studying on your own time. That's why they give you study time for classes. Even though it may not be something you don't particularly want to study, it's not necessarily what you're studying, it's how you study that makes it effective or not.
Right. And I definitely agree with you to the point where, you're definitely saying, well, we have we're in the information age, and people, might be researching their own history. Right. But the thing is that, but the thing is, where I've personally come across is that they'll either watch one or two documentaries and leave it at that, or watch a documentary like Hidden Colors, which is quite debatable amongst African historians as it is, even though I personally like Hidden Colors. You do have historians or African historians up in arms on that, and some people would just take a little bit from that video and they would leave it as is, and they would not, further research that. They would just read a little bit of information and leave it at that. But, however, to kind of get back to, what you were previously saying before, is that the African-American history, we're in need of African-Americans to take that over. Does that make sense? We're in need of people being in those fields so that we can control it. Because if you don't like something, you can only change it. But how do you change it? Well, first of all, you got to get in the game. That's what being the game changer means. You have to get in the African American history field, or get into the African American psychology field. So if there are any inaccuracies, anything inadequate that you feel is in that field, well, heck, you can't do anything about it until you get into it and change it. So that's kind of, the point, that we need to get into those fields, take those fields over and change it, because the highest person, quite honestly, in those fields are not African American. They're ran
you're
by,
absolutely correct.
whites.
But
So you still are so we're still allowing whites to write our history.
mhm. You hit it on the head right there. I was just about to say, at the end of the day, they're running it. So whatever they want to tell you, whether they want to leave important facts out or not to keep you blinded or blindsided, you know what I'm saying? They can do that because nobody really wants to challenge, I guess you could say, white supremacy. I'd even take it, we could take it there if you want. You know what I'm saying?
I wouldn't necessarily.
I'm not saying it's
white.
all that, but I mean, it's a big umbrella. It's basically
it is a big umbrella
in a sense of control, and we have the ability to change it, but because people don't support or believe in it, well, first of all, a lot of people don't believe in themselves. So it starts with yourself. You can't change the game till you change yourself. You got to change your mindset before you can change the game. It's like, I mean, if you're an athlete. You play. I'm pretty sure you played sports when we was younger.
We did.
So you understand that when you're playing a basketball game, if your head ain't in the game, whatever play the coach is drawing up for you, you're not gonna be able to complete the play because your head ain't in the game. Either you're gonna miss the shot, miss the pick, or you're going to get a bad call, bad foul. It's like because your head's not in the game. If you're a point guard, you need to have the mentality of a point guard, so on and so forth. All those different positions, you have to have the mindset to be able to perform that position to the greatest of your ability. Well, it's the same thing with somebody that wants to be a teacher or wants to educate or wants to research. You have to put your mindset has to be exactly that. I want to be the best that I can be at what I'm doing, And even whether it's, trying to rewrite history because the history books are inaccurate, or encourage students to take more of these courses. Because it sounds like, and correct me if I'm wrong on this, it sounds like your mission, or at least a big part of your mission, is to encourage our students, our African American body within these campuses, Ball State in particular, to take time out to see these classes for what they are, see what they're offering, then do your research and see what changes you can be made to make it better for the people that come after you.
I would say that's a small portion, a very particular small portion. But my biggest portion is, again, allowing people the opportunity to take tomorrow into their hands, honestly. Because right now, you have Black Lives Matter movements, you have still young African Americans being killed on a daily basis, and you have people, and this is just honest truth, African Americans disappearing left and right, and you can't just leave it at a protest. You cannot just leave it off at I'm a march. You know what I'm saying? You have African American men who are dying, not necessarily just from police brutality, but black-on-black violence. And then you have a part of that, African American men committing suicide. Just, I want to say a week or two ago, you had one of a prominent image or a prominent man in the Black Lives Matter movement. He had committed suicide.
Yeah, I heard about that in Ohio.
Right.
Right.
And he had committed suicide, I believe, on a government building. But the question is now, how do we battle that? Where do we go from that point? Why are all of these things happening? You see what I'm saying? And it has to change, but how do you change it? You see, you can't change anything if you have no knowledge of the situation. You can't change anything, and this is where people really get messed up, is that people are so in tune or so worried about what's going on in front of them that they're not dealing with the problem because the problem is not necessarily in front of you. The problem is behind that. You have to dig to get to the problem, and then you have to dig even further to find a solution, if that makes sense. You see what I'm saying? When I was doing a marketing internship sometime in Indy, one thing that, my mentor had told me was, he told me about The Matrix. And I'm like, what are you talking about? That's just a movie. He was like, no, the marketing or the database matrix, what they call, was a basically the numbers behind everything. Everything in front of you does not really exist. Those are just numbers. The wall that you're looking at that's around you, those four corners, those four lovely corners, that doesn't exist. Those existed as blueprints. Those are numbers. So when you look at that wall, that's why you see, 4 by 4 or 2 12 by 8. Those are the numbers that make it up. You see what I'm saying? The elements that went into making that wall. You see what I'm saying? All of that is what is making what's in front of you, what's revealing what's in front of you. And it's the matrix because, again, there was so many things that went on behind before you got your final product. So to kind of, again, tie this back in, is that with a lot of African Americans, there's so much that's going on behind what's going on right now. There's so many things that made up what's going on right now. You see what I'm saying? This stuff didn't just happen overnight, as we both know. White supremacy doesn't just happen overnight. And now you have to start looking at the math of white supremacy and looking at what's happening. And the math of white supremacy is you have millions of mass incarcerations. You have millions of African Americans who are still living in poverty, or considered to be living in poverty. You still have really no real African American middle class. And then you're still having it to where people are being miseducated. And then you still have it to where people are actually, even in the church system, still praising as slaves. And they're not even knowing it. A lot of the things that you see in black churches are actually a product of slavery. So that's another form of white supremacy. So a lot of that, you're now starting to, you don't necessarily see it. You see what I'm saying? Because of all what's happening in front of you. And to us, this was normal. You see what I'm saying? But then when you start looking at, again, the background, everything in the background, that's when you start to find the problems and the solutions.
I guess take it to kind of bring it full circle for you. What exactly would being in the industrial technology major, how is that going to be a benefit towards the movement that you got going right now?
Well, I can make it a benefit simply because of this. Technology, we're in a technology age, as you said. We're in an information age. Technology is always going to move forward. No matter what happens, technology is always going to move forward. You see what I'm saying? And if you were building up a network, you're going to need technology to be able to now connect with people on a wider span. You see what I'm saying? Because that's what technology, I'm sorry, it's 6 a.m., but, that's what technology has a way of doing. Technology is going about connecting people. But not only that, but, me personally for myself, industrial technology right now is just a way of trying to bring the fight to them. Do you understand? What I'm saying is
absolutely.
that a lot of African Americans right now, though we are finding or striving for success, a lot of African Americans that I've personally met are not going into the fields that can challenge or make their situation better or challenge the system. Technology is huge, is a huge, huge industry with not a lot of blacks in it. But if blacks were to go into technology, you see what I'm saying? Then now you can start being able to take the power for yourself, because there's entrepreneurship opportunities in technology that you can do. There's international business or international opportunities for you in technology. You can then start, if you really wish to, because Africa, there are people in Africa who are making a difference. Start finally investing in Africa, because right now technology is something that overall whites and Asians have been taking over, because they know that no matter what happens, no matter what other field, you're going to need technology to progress that. That's why you see, touch boards in the classrooms now. Technology has advanced that, but where does it start? It didn't necessarily just start in the education field. It started in technology, and then it may work its way over to education field. For the biomedical, that's still technology in which that you're, working on genetics and finding out cures for this disease, or trying to start to reconstitute or remake human limbs. That starts in technology, science of technology. And then it works its way over to the medical field. You see what I'm saying? And Asians and whites know this. That's why that's why they're very successful. And then once they're done mastering the technology field and they convert that over to business, then that's when they should go out and just buy everything up that they want. So it's taking the fight again to them.
Okay. Wow. I mean, you put it together like that, I mean, it makes you wonder why nobody's really trying to step up any sooner. They're letting time go by.
Well, it's the fact of we don't know. We don't know that we don't know. The most dangerous thing for a person is that we don't know that we don't know. You know what I mean? And what that means is this.
I do. I get what you mean. The awareness of not knowing.
But what other listeners, for what that means is that the biggest thing is that if you know that you don't know, you have a way of changing that, because you can go research what you don't know and you can find the answers. But if you don't even know that you don't know, then there's nothing you can do about that to research it.
Right.
You've already technically almost lost, because you're not even aware.
Yeah. Right. That's a term I'm very familiar with. Being lost. Not necessarily losing, or not in the terms of losing or winning, but lost being you're in the world, you exist, but you haven't quite found your purpose yet, because you don't know your purpose, because you don't know that you don't know anything else outside of that.
Exactly. Your purpose, or that, to have Dr. John Henry Clark stated that it's also you have to have an African mind. You have to have an African allegiance. A lot of blacks don't think that they have, or a lot of blacks think that they have African American allegiance, but they really don't. They really don't.
Man, I honestly thought an hour interview was going to be enough time for you, man. We already got less than 10 minutes to go, man. So what we're gonna do is, 'cause I'm pretty sure we're gonna try to get you back on Friday if we can. So we'll see how your schedules, and we'll try to put it back together. If not, we'll we'll definitely get you back on here as soon as possible, because I feel like you know, you were just getting going, and it's already, you know, time's already running out, you know. So
right.
Just you know, if you kind of summarize and give a brief summarization of what you said today, just to kind of, you know, drop a jewel for them, you know, because, you know, there's people out there that are just now waking up that really probably missed what we said, but we will be posting this on ToshSlatter.com as soon as the live stream is off the air. So if you did miss the live stream, don't worry, I got you to be posted within half an hour to an hour. But I do want you to just drop a jewel for them, just something to kind of summarize what you said, you know, some final words for them.
No problem. This is, again, kind of summarizes what I said. The majority of what we had talked about earlier was just now being able to gear African Americans toward having an African American centered mind, basically, and to start going into fields and start taking the opportunities and the advantages that are there in order to better ourselves. A lot of times we think that we are conscious just because we have a little bit of our history, when in reality we're not. And in order to, we're definitely trying to change that. I definitely think that we will change that within the future. But a jewel that I can drop for them, start finding out what you don't know about yourself.
I like that. I will start finding out what you don't know. I like that. Just because it sounds very simple, but there's so much more to it if you take time out to really analyze yourself. And it's something that even myself, that's personal experience for myself, is learning how to analyze myself and get to know myself and ultimately love myself in order to love others the way that everybody strives to do. A lot of people go about it the complete opposite way. In my opinion, they go about it the complete opposite way. We try to love others, but we don't know how to love ourselves yet. So if you don't know how to love yourself and you don't know that you don't know how to love yourself, then how are you ever going to learn how to love anybody outside of yourself?
Exactly. And that's where, you know, and that's where, you know, these whole racial stuff gets people confused, because you're telling me to love somebody or a culture who, you know, benefits off of my oppression, but I can't. You're telling me to love them and forgive them, but first of all, I haven't even started to forgive myself. I haven't even started to love myself, because I don't even know how to love myself. You see what I'm saying? Right. So in virtual reality, again, and back into the matrix of what I said earlier, to go to the thing that's behind finally go to the source, the numbers, it doesn't add up. It hasn't added up for over 500 to 600 years. You telling me to love somebody I can't even love myself? That's not going to work. Right. So again, go ahead. My bad. So again, for the audiences, just find out what you don't know about yourself. Other than that, that's pretty much all I got.
We definitely go. Hey, look, man. I want to first of all thank you for blessing Body and Soul with your presence this morning.
Oh man, I want to thank you for the opportunity.
We just getting started. See now, because I knew it was going to get in depth, and I had a feeling the time was just going to fly by like it was nothing. I already had in mind that I was going to definitely continue this conversation, because the more we talk about it, the more people, you know, I would like to think it would spark minds and open minds to want to do more and to want to get to see more of what we're talking about. So we'll definitely get you back on here and try to expand and continue growth and progression within the community, because ultimately the audience that's just tuning in, this is what Body and Soul is really all about. That's why I picked the morning time. I wanted to pick a time where people are instead of give you another option and variety. Instead of you tuning in to a radio station that's talking about some gossip or some rumors or something that's not beneficial to your life right now, I wanted to give you an option to be able to tune into something that can actually benefit you for the rest of your life if you're willing to listen. If you're willing to take time out to listen. And I give you some music in between, of course, when we have the conversations where we have time to play a track or two in between and let the jewels kind of marinate. But ultimately, I wanted to give a platform to people like you, Tony, that have something that needs to be said, needs to be heard on a global scale. And what better way to do it in the information age than to do it online, internet, World Wide Web? You know, need I say more? You know, that's what Body and Soul is all about. You know. So once again, I appreciate you for continuing this journey with me of trying to give my community, my people, something to be inspired by, to be influenced by. This is entrepreneur entertainment at its finest. You know, completely independent. You know what I'm saying? It's free. It's freedom of speech. You know. See, when you're on terrestrial radio, you got the FCC. You can't say certain things. You can't. You know, you can't be political. You can't get in depth because they can pull the plug on you and hit the kill switch instantly the moment you say something they don't like. You understand? So terrestrial radio, which is, in my opinion, a dying technology because technology is moving forward, terrestrial radio and television are dying because of that, because of the rules and regulations, limitations, and lack of authenticity that's going on right now with the media. So doing it on this platform is me trying to move forward with technology because everybody's going to streaming. You know, everybody has an app on their phone now, Apple Music, Spotify, Pandora, the list goes on. You know, so this radio show is basically showing that there's another way. You know, there's another way to do it. And I hope that we've inspired somebody out there to want to get to know something that they don't know about themselves. That's the quote of the day, y'all. I like that. I like that quote. Research something that you don't know. You don't know it, research it, no matter what it is. Because the moment you start practicing that and you make that I would say a behavior, you make that an action, a habit, a good habit, not a bad one. You know, the better off I believe everybody will be, and we'll all be able to progress in our own lives each and every day. You know, so,
yes, sir.
Tony, we're about to go real fast. Let them know where they can find you out on social media. You know.
Well, they definitely can find me on Instagram called at the Knowledge Holder. For my Facebook, I probably have to give that to them at another time because right now I'm in the process of making another Facebook. So yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, you know, once again, thanks for being on here, man. We'll definitely get you back on here. Have a blessed day at Ball State. Go Cardinals.
You too. Thank you.
All right. No problem. All right. You can follow us at Body and Soul Radio on Twitter. The episodes will be posted at TySlatter.com. Stay blessed. Stay inspired. Ty Slatter, let's get it, and we out.
Build a better bathroom today with help from Lowe's, where you'll find great deals on everything you need during the Kohler Dream Bathroom event. So hurry into your neighborhood store to get 10 to 15% off select Kohler and Sterling bath products that are sure to transform any bathroom. Don't miss out on all of the great savings happening right now at Lowe's. Selection varies by store. Valid February 11th through March 13th. U.S. only.